I see pineapples everywhere. This episode is about the power of the pineapple. So, those who may have just found us may see and notice that we feature pineapples, we talk about pineapples, and I've had a lot of questions recently saying, why do you talk about pineapples so much? What is it with the pineapple? And so, in this episode today, I want to share some important information about how you can design your life and how what you focus on and what you think is what you end up becoming. And that's how we became fixated on the pineapple, which I'll share. So, in my workshops, those who've taken my workshops before, I run a workshop called Design Your Life. We usually run it once a year in January. And it's a powerful workshop that we run, which is all about you taking control and creating success on purpose and defining your own version of success, and how you navigate what you think and feel towards designing your life on purpose, and actually where you put your thoughts are important. And I bring myself back to this every single day. And in the workshops, I used to share the example of a red car. When I bought a red car, I saw red cars everywhere. I talk about this in my book, Your Art Matters. So I used to talk about that. It's the RAS, the reticular activating system. When you focus on something, you will see more of it. And with my red car, I bought the red car. I saw them everywhere. I felt like there was more red cars on the road, but they've always been there. But now I see them. And so this principle of where your focus goes, energy flows is important. And that's the whole thing of designing your life. When you get focused on what it is that you actually want, you will start to see the opportunities in relation to that everywhere. And we can go levels deeper with that in terms of manifesting and energy and things. But at a very simple level, for those who aren't woo, it's a scientific thing. It's proven. So, and I do love the woo side of it as well. But the woo being the vibrational energy side, that when you start to, put your focus on something, you'll attract it back. But that aside, if you're not into the woo, focusing on a pineapple, and we proved the point. So in one of my events, I got bored of talking about the red car. Every year I talk about the red car. So I actually, to illustrate the point of let's focus on something together for the next 2 weeks and see if this happens. And we'll all focus on the same thing because it'll be fun. And in my head, randomly, I thought I'll go and get a watermelon. And just use a random object, a watermelon. I'll just go and get the watermelon. So I went to the supermarket and there weren't any watermelons in stock, and they weren't going to get any in until after my live webinars. So I thought, so I literally just saw the pineapple, picked the pineapple and thought, fine, I'll just use the pineapple to illustrate the point. And throughout that event, we shared the story of where focus goes, energy flows. We used the pineapple as a symbol of, keep a lookout this week, keep the pineapple in your mind's eye. And oh my gosh, it just developed into everyone sending pineapple pictures. It got out of control. It was hilarious. It got out of control in a good way. But what it proved was, yes, we started seeing pineapples everywhere. And still to this day now, I have people messaging me saying, oh my gosh, I can't stop seeing pineapples. And the interesting thing about this now, for me especially, there's been a lot of lessons from the pineapple. And I want to just share them with you because I think we can all learn from this. One of the things has to be, the pineapple now has become a symbol in our business. And the symbol really being, one, fun. So one of our values in United Art Space is to have fun. We want to make art and creativity as fun as possible. My word this year is joy. And I love being silly. And throughout that event, I did a video with a pineapple on my head, like a real pineapple, and I balanced it. And it's just about having fun. And in that moment, I had no idea that that pineapple would end up becoming like this thing, the thing that it has become today. People often buy me now pineapple gifts. I've never had an affinity with a pineapple before. It's just randomly picked it up in a supermarket. I've never really been a massive fan of pineapples. And it's just extraordinary. So one of the things is become a symbol of fun around here. So now whenever I see a pineapple or someone sends me a pineapple image and says, hey, I've just seen this, it always just fills me with utter joy. Like I get the feels of, oh my gosh, isn't this hilarious? And isn't this just nice that someone else has noticed a pineapple and it's so random and it's so fun? And so every time I see it now, it reminds me of joy. And I always think in this world that, especially if we feel stressed, if we feel overwhelmed, if we feel like we're not getting where we want to be, all of those things, one of the best things you can do is find the joy in the small things and acknowledge them. And every time I see the pineapple, I kind of give it a little nod, like, yeah, I see you, I see you. And it's a little reminder to myself to smile, you know? It's like, reminds me of all the fun we've had with this crazy pineapple theme. So that's my first thing. Secondly, when I see the pineapple now, it is a reminder again of, be careful, Michelle, where you're putting your focus. So for me, I've been doing this a lot recently, noticing where my thoughts are going and the decisions that I'm making and the feelings that I'm feeling. And so I have goals. I'm moving towards things in my personal life, in my business. And it's extraordinary to me just noticing. And I am gaining great power by transferring my thoughts to what it is that I actually want, not what I don't have. And that in itself is powerful. I'm going to say that one again. Transferring my thoughts towards the things that I want, not the things that I don't have. What I'm learning more about myself is it's fine to acknowledge the things that I don't want in my life or the things that I maybe don't have, to be able to help me decide what it is that I want. But ultimately, I'm not staying there. I'm staying in where is it that I'm going. And that's been a huge, major shift in my life recently. I can feel myself feeling happier. I feel myself moving towards the things that I want. It's opening up the doors of seeing the opportunities like the pineapple. So I'm getting clear on where I want to go. And I'm seeing the opportunities. I'm making connections with people. There's all this crazy stuff happening. And it's because I'm not focusing on the bad stuff. I'm focusing on where I want to go, and I can feel it. It's moving. It's exciting. So again, the pineapple is that reminder to re-navigate my thoughts and feelings towards the positive outcomes that I want, not the negatives. Because when we focus on what we don't want all the time with feeling and with angst, we will, grow more of that. And so then also what the pineapple has become over the years is also a symbol of community and unity. We're called United Art Space for a reason. And somebody reached out to me, Janine, one of our members, reached out to me and said, did you know that the pineapple is made up of lots of different fruitlets? And so each of the spikes was once its own individual flower. So it's not like one whole, it's made up of lots. So it's such a fantastic representation of community, how there's one whole is formed of lots of little fruitlets. And that just thinks, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why we're called United Art Space. And so to me, that pineapple also reinforces our mission as a business. Or who'd have thought? And again, this also brings me back to the craziness of life, of not resisting going out and just buying a random pineapple that day, because I could have got in my head thinking that's just ridiculous. Why would I sit there with a pineapple in my head? That's so stupid. What's that teaching people about designing their life? Like, we can easily just get in our own head about stuff instead of just feeling what feels right. I went into that shop that day, I bought the pineapple. It was fun and it felt funny, and I just didn't overthink it, and I just did it, and it's become this big thing. And now it's brought so much more meaning to what I do, and it's brought more even clarity and purpose, and there's a visual representation now, and that's creativity at its best. That's co-creation at its best. That's like the spice of life of picking something up off a shelf one day and rolling with it and going with it, and then listening to other people's interpretation of it, and then meeting people. And we had an event the other week and everyone's wearing these pineapple badges, and the whole place, this ceramic show, knew the Pineapple Crew because they stood out. And it was like, whoa, this is major, all from picking up that pineapple in that shop that day. And I think that just goes to show the power of the pineapple, but also the power of you tuning into what feels right and having fun, and also knowing that in the creative act and creative pursuit, that one action that we take this week that seems completely irrelevant and slightly obscure or not making any sense to us can 3-4 years later, which has been for the pineapple, start to make complete sense and start to actually feel part of your being. And it's crazy. It's crazy. The other thing as well about the pineapple, in case you want some statistics, I don't know how true this is, but I've also heard that it takes 2 to 3 years to grow just one pineapple, which is mind blowing. And again, that resonates because I talk a lot about the creative journey and it not being a fast one. We develop creatively over time, and we also have cycles. And I feel like I'm having a kind of like rebirth, regeneration at the moment of moving into new phases of my life. And I don't know, it's just really, really interesting how the pineapple just takes so long to grow and to develop. And I feel like that's the same for us, or a lot of us around here too. We're on our journey, taking our time to feel, to connect, to grow, to understand. So when I see the pineapple, I'm like, I see you. I see you, little pineapple. And this is a wonderful gift a friend sent me that I'm holding right now. And it says, "Fine apple. It's fine. You're fine. Everything's fine." So there you go. There's the power of the pineapple, my friends. Keep a lookout for your own pineapple, that version of what it is, of where you want to go and how you want to feel. And bring yourself back to it every now and again to remind yourself, so that you see the opportunities that are out there in front of you. Take care. Bye bye.